It's Brandi's World. Hello, hello, and thank you for attending and listening to this talk. My name is Brandi Beckett. I am a 50-year-old transgender woman. And today's talk, we are going to talk about gender dysphoria. So, gender dysphoria has been a hotly debated topic for the last few years, right? So first of all, what is gender dysphoria? And why should I care about it? Gender dysphoria is when your gender identity, that your identity within you, how you see yourself, that identity does not align with your expression. So, let me break down those terms a little bit for you. Best way to do this is consider the following. Okay. You are not looking at my gender identity, and I am not looking at your gender identity. No one can see your gender identity because your gender identity is within you. What I am seeing, if I was to look at you, and what you're seeing when you're looking at me, is my gender expression. Our gender expressions are reflections of our gender identities. And these reflections, we view them through our lenses of our gender performances. So like my gender performance and your gender performance is how we interact with not just the society around us, but also how we interact with our own gender identity. So, to simplify that a little bit, your gender identity is your inner self. And your gender expression, that is how you project that inner identity from inward to outward. And your gender performance is how you interact with the society around you and yourself. So, when I discovered that I am a transgender woman, I realized that for my entire life, I was experiencing an ailment that I did not identify or did not know. I just knew I was uncomfortable in my own skin. And I knew I was uncomfortable in my own skin since I was a little kid. I was always uncomfortable in my skin, but I did not know why I was uncomfortable in my skin. I did not know to question my gender identity when I was a kid. I grew up in the 1980s. So in the 1980s, we were taught, indoctrinated into a belief that your sexual orientation and your gender assignment are basically the same thing, that they're the carved from the same cloth, or that they should be yoked together. And you should use those two concepts as a barometer of each other. So like, if you are attracted to girls when you're little and you're assigned boy, and then that confirms you're a boy, right? So I was assigned boy at birth. I was assigned box A in our society. And growing up, I had an attraction. My sexual orientation was towards femininity, or girls, women. And because I knew my sex drive was towards that, I assumed, and everyone else around me assumed, that my assignment was where it should be. And that's where my issue lied, where I didn't question it, but I had this uncomfortableness about myself. I could never fit in. I never fit that part I was trying to live up to, that assignment. I couldn't do it. And when I discovered my gender identity in my 40s, it made sense. It was like a revealing of a curtain and going, holy wow, that is why I was so uncomfortable in my skin, because I was experiencing gender dysphoria and I did not look inside myself to ask myself questions. And when I did turn to ask myself questions about myself, I discovered that I'm trans. I do not fit in the gender assigned box that I was assigned at birth. That when I express myself, when I truly look into myself and I see who I am, I see the Brandi that is in me, I want to express that. And when I look in the mirror, the black mirror that we've stayed in front of all day, those have cameras on it, or the reflective mirror on my wall, or the social mirror when I walk out into public, I want those mirrors to more closely align with my identity. In that mix match of looking in yourself and seeing this beautiful, for me, it's beautiful, feminine, bubbly Brandi Beckett. And I feel like when I look in the mirror today, when I look in my social mirror, when I look in my black mirror, and when I look in my mirror on the wall, I get pretty close to this Brandi I envision in my head. I'll never get to that exact drawn out idyllic person, because that's silly. No one's ever going to get to that idyllic person. But I see pretty close. But I have been treating my gender dysphoria for many years now. And it didn't start off like aligned. My gender identity, when I discovered it and I looked at those mirrors, I saw such a mixed match of where society and myself saw myself when I looked in the mirror that it was painful. I couldn't even look at mirrors for the longest time. I couldn't go out into general public without caking my face with makeup, trying to reshape it, trying to capture images, trying to reshape my body the best I can with clever clothing and stuff. But my gender dysphoria wasn't truly treated until I got medical interventions for it. Until I got procedures such as hormone replacement therapy. That helped bring my emotional side and many, many physical characters more aligned with how I see them inside me. I got laser hair removal. That treated this dysphoria of having this masculine, androgen-driven hair draped all over my body and carpeting my face. When I got rid of most of that and got it manageable where I can handle it and get rid of the little scruffy places I need to have, that eased the gender dysphoria. That more aligned with how I feel about myself inside. Breast augmentation helped. Facial feminization was the greatest and the best treatment for my gender dysphoria. I remember going back to California just a year into my transition, into my discovery of who I am. And I was there with my family who loved me and accept me and care for me. And I couldn't walk out of the bedroom I was staying in until I caked my face with makeup and had all my clothing just right, because I couldn't face the world with that pain of that dysphoria, of that mixed match of identity and expression. And that was hard. I would spend hours every day trying to just create this expression. And through facial feminization, I was like, I got rid of most of my makeup. I don't hardly use makeup. I'm not wearing any makeup today. On a regular day, I don't use makeup most times. I enjoy putting on makeup once in a while, a little bit, but not much of it. But I felt like before my facial feminization surgery, I had to use makeup. It was a social armor for me. And it was a social armor I felt weak without. And my facial feminization changed that. I feel more me-like. I mean, my face is not extraordinarily beautiful or extraordinarily feminine. It's not even exactly how I see it in my head. But it's not bad. I enjoy me. I enjoy my expression now. Gender dysphoria is a treatable infliction that affects millions of people. And us as a society, denying people to the access of treatment for gender dysphoria is wrong. It is harmful. It is hurtful. It lacks empathy for people. It lacks empathy for humanity when we deny treatments for people, especially a treatment that is so successful. My goodness, look at the rates of success with gender dysphoria treatment. It is unreal compared to other treatments for other ailments. Gender dysphoria treatment works, and it works well. It works better than most other physical surgical treatments. My facial feminization worked. My breast augmentation works. My hair removal laser removes hair and it works. Hormone replacement therapy works. All of these things treat gender dysphoria with other treatments too. And some of it is just a social recognition. So I urge all of us to look at gender dysphoria as an ailment that affects people, and it is treatable. And we should allow people who need this treatment to have this treatment. It works for me. It works for millions of other individuals who are dealing with gender dysphoria. I'm going to leave you on this note. Love yourself, but more importantly, like yourself. And treat people the way that they want to be treated.